Alrighty, listen up guys. If you've been sitting on the sidelines, that's completely fine, but the market has completely shifted and buyers are officially back in control. Now in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what's happening in the real estate market right now, why homes are sitting longer, why sellers are getting nervous, and how you can take advantage of it before things swing the other way. Now, my name is Andrew Pench. I'm a licensed realtor based out of Vero Beach, Florida, and my team and I help buyers relocate all over the state of Florida. Now, whether you're looking at the Treasure Coast, where I am, the Gulf Coast, Central Florida, or even down in South Florida, we've got people in the right place at LPT is a huge brokerage. They all know the market and know exactly how to help you land the right deal. Now, if you're thinking about making a move or even just starting to plan for one, my contact information is right here on the screen. You could reach out whenever you're ready. Now, let's go ahead and talk about what's really going on, because the headlines are not telling you the full story. And if you're not paying attention, you might miss one of the best windows that buyers have had in a long time. So guys, here's what you need to know. Inventory is climbing and it's doing it fast. So Florida's active listings are up almost 27% compared to this time last year, which means there are more homes in the market and less competition fighting over them. Now, that alone should tell you that the market isn't as hot as it was, but there's more to it than that. So we're now sitting at about a 5.5 month supply of homes across the state. And that's a big shift from what we were seeing during the boom, where we barely had enough homes to last a couple of weeks. Now, a 5 to 6 month supply is what most experts would call a balanced market, but the truth is momentum is already starting to tip towards the buyers, and it's showing up in price cuts, longer days on the market, and way more room to negotiate for our clients. Now, I don't want to make it sound like buyers are in total control though, because that's not the case. Homes that are priced right and in great condition are still moving forward quickly, and a lot of the time they're still going for full price or even over asking. Now, some sellers are even pulling the same strategy that worked back during the COVID era. So you remember they would price a little bit low on purpose to stir up that frenzy, get multiple offers within the first few days. And when they do that well and with the right house, it still works. But here's an example of where we had leverage. Now, one of our clients bought a house in the Black Bear community that was originally listed at about $769,500, and we got it down to $672,500, and that is going to be a $97,000 price drop, which is about 12.6% of a discount. Now, that property was overpriced out of the gate, and we recognized that right away, so we took our time, positioned our offer in the right way, and we got the deal done on our terms. So yeah, if you're trying to buy one of those slam dunk homes that's priced right from day one, you're still going to have some competition, but for everything else, the tide has turned and buyers are officially having some breathing room and some real negotiating power. Alrighty, so let's talk about what's actually happening with prices, because this is where things get interesting. So the headlines will say that prices are stabilizing or even slightly up year over year, but that doesn't paint the full picture. Now, what's really going on is that the sellers are listing high, getting no bites, and then chopping their own prices down once reality sets in. Now, we're seeing more price drops than we've seen in years, and if you're watching certain markets closely, it's happening weekly. Now, not every market is tanking. Some cities like Orlando and Jacksonville are still showing some small increases year over year, weirdly enough, but that doesn't mean that everything is selling for what it's listed at. Now, the median sale price is a lagging indicator, so what we're seeing in the data today is based on deals that went under contract weeks or months ago, and what you're not seeing in those numbers is how many sellers are having to cut their asking price just to get traffic to the door. Now, condos in particular are absolutely getting wrecked, a lot harder than single family homes. And in a lot of markets, especially Southwest Florida, you're seeing 8, 10, even 12% drops in condo pricing. Now, some of that is tied to new building regulations and rising insurance costs, but it's also just basic supply and demand. So there are too many units and not enough buyers for these condos. The other thing to watch is seller psychology. Now, a lot of sellers still think that they're in 2021 and they're pricing their homes like the market is is on fire. But when those listings sit for 30, 60, 90 days with no offers, no showings, they're forced to face reality and make some adjustments. And when they do, that is where the opportunity opens up for serious buyers. Now, this is why working with someone who's in the weeds every day matters, because on the surface, a home may look like it's priced fine, but if I know the area, or our buyer's agent Alex knows the area, and if I know the seller's motivation and I know how long it's been sitting on the market, then we can build a strategy that gets you the best deal possible. All right, now one of the clearest signs that buyers are gaining leverage is how long these houses are taking to sell. Now, across Florida, the average time on the market is pushing 90 days, and that's up over 25% from this time last year. Now, this tells you everything you need to know about how this market has shifted. Now, when homes sit, sellers get anxious, and that's where the negotiation starts to come back into play. Now, back during the peak of the market, you'd see homes go live on Thursday and they'd be under contract by Saturday, sometimes with 5 or 6 offers on the table. I remember whenever I was showing houses daily and I had to bring my laptop with me with a hotspot in my truck so I can write those offers on the spot. And that was definitely a different time. That was the norm, but now you're seeing 2 or 3 price reductions before a serious offer even shows up to the table. And in a lot of cases, buyers are coming in under asking and still getting the deal accepted. Now, with that said, this isn't just a blanket rule across the entire state. My buyer's agent, Alex, was just working with a client out in Westlake, which is a huge master plan community just west of West Palm Beach. And the demand out there is still insane. Now, builders, they cannot put these homes up fast enough, and they're barely offering any incentives because they just simply don't have to. Now, they're building a whole new city out there, brand new everything from ground up, but it's also right near West Palm Beach, so that's another huge demand for people who get a job out there, work out there, just love West Palm Beach, whatever. Now, people, they're just lining up to buy before these models are even finished, and that's a totally different situation from what we are seeing in most of the resale market here. So yeah, homes that are priced right in the right communities, especially in new construction areas like Westlake, are still getting the attention and moving fast, but that is not the norm. Now, most sellers right now are still behind the curve, and it's costing them. And what happens is when a home has been sitting for 45, 60, even 100 days, the seller starts to feel it. They've already packed or they've already moved, and they've been through 2 rounds of open houses with no bites. And that's whenever they most likely want to listen to an offer, even if it's lower than expected. Now, if you're working with the right agent, somebody who knows how long properties have been sitting and what that seller's real pain points are, you can come in with a clean, strategic offer and get exactly what you want without overpaying or dealing with the games that we're all dealing with 2 years ago. Now, this is whenever patience pays off. You're not in a rush, and sellers can't afford to sit forever. Now, that puts you in a great position if you know how to use these strategies correctly. So what is behind all this, and why is the market cooling down so fast in a state where everyone still wants to move? There's a few reasons, and they're all piling up at the same time. So first, we've got the interest rates. So when rates were in the 2s and the 3s, everyone was scrambling to buy whatever they could get their hands on because the monthly payment made it feel affordable, even if the price tag was feeling a little bit higher. Now, it was just basically free money. We all know that. But now rates are hovering around 7%, and that changes everything. So a $500,000 house with today's rates feels more like a $650,000 house did a couple of years ago, and that's pushed a ton of buyers out of the market, or at least forced them to wait and watch. Now, second, we've got insurance. Now, this one is a big deal in Florida. Insurance premiums have gone up like crazy over the last few years, and in some cases, it's adding hundreds, even thousands of dollars to somebody's monthly payment. And between hurricane risks, outdated roofs, and more strict underwriting, it's getting even harder and more expensive to insure a home, and that's turning into a deal breaker for a lot of the buyers out here. So even when they can afford the house, they can't stomach the insurance quote because that is tacked on. And if you're looking at condos, then forget about it. There's a whole different set of issues. So new legislation is requiring buildings to go through structural inspections, reserve studies, and a lot of cases, major repairs. there. And guess who pays for that? It's the current owners and by extension, the next buyer. So now we're going to be seeing some special assessments, higher HOA fees, and buyers being spooked by the financials of the entire condo associations here. Now that's why you're seeing condo prices slide even faster than the single family homes. And add all of that up, higher rates, higher insurance, higher fees, new legislation on the condos. And it's not that demand has just disappeared. It's just that buyers are being way more cautious. They're not rushing in. They're asking questions. They're running the numbers. And in this kind of market, this kind of mindset gives you the edge. Okay, now let's zoom in a little bit and talk about what's happening in specific parts of Florida, because this slowdown isn't just hitting one or two cities. It's showing up almost everywhere, just in different ways. Now let's start with Tampa first. Now this market was one of the hottest in the country during the COVID boom. It was ranked in the top 10 by just about every national outlet. But by now, Tampa has dropped way down those rankings, and homes that used to fly off the market are now sitting for weeks. Price cuts are becoming common, especially in neighborhoods that were way overvalued during the frenzy. And sellers who tried to list at 2021 prices are getting a reality check fast. Now, Orlando is still hanging on a little bit better, but we're seeing a similar trend. Median prices are still showing a small year-over-year increase, but again, that's not telling the whole story. So what we're seeing in real time is sellers who price high and have to come down, and buyers who are waiting out overpriced homes until they're ready to make a move or until those prices come down. Now, the market in Orlando is moving, but it's not moving like it used to. Now, Jacksonville is another one to watch. It's had solid growth for years, but inventory has started to build up there too. And once you get outside of those core areas and into the outer suburbs, the days on the market start stretching and the negotiation power starts shifting to the buyer. And you can still find deals there if you know how to play it right. And then there is Southwest Florida, places like Cape Coral, Northport, Punta Gorda. This region saw a huge run up during the pandemic and is now feeling some of the sharpest corrections, especially in the condos. And in Northport, condo prices are down to close to 9%. And in Punta Gorda, it's over 11%. And that's just not a normal fluctuation. That is a market resetting in those areas. And even here in the Treasure Coast, we're seeing homes stay on the market for longer and sellers who aren't getting the kind of traffic that they were used to whenever it was those COVID frenzy times. But the point is, it doesn't really matter where you're looking right now, whether it's a major metro or a smaller coastal town like Vero Beach, buyers are gaining leverage across the board. And if you've been watching a certain area and waiting for your moment, then this one might be it. All right, now if you don't just want to take my word for it, that is completely fine, because just about every major economist and real estate analyst is saying the same thing. Florida's market is shifting, buyers are regaining leverage. All the articles are coming out saying that there are more sellers than there are buyers, and the spread is getting larger and larger, especially in Florida. And the conditions that we're seeing right now are very different from what we've had over the last few years. Now, inventory is climbing, prices are softening, and the buyer pool has thinned out. So if you're still in the game and you're still prepared, you've got way more power than people realize. And this window of opportunity won't last forever, because we're already seeing some areas where things are stabilizing, like that Westlake area that I was talking about, where things never really even slowed down, but they're building that whole new city. And if interest rates drop or inventory tightens back up, the balance could shift again quickly towards the seller side. So if you're thinking about making a move, whether it is next month, next quarter, or even a year from now, this is when you should start laying the groundwork, laying in that foundation. So the best deals are going to be going to the people who are prepared and who know how to move whenever the right house pops up. Now, my contact information again is going to be right here on the screen and also in the description below. And you can also head over to our website, which is fleastcoast.com. That site is tied directly to multiple MLS feeds across Florida, so you can browse listings, run searches, and keep an eye on what's happening in real time. No delays, no fluff, just active inventory. And if you sign up on the website and plug in your correct phone number and email, then someone from our team will personally reach out, most likely either going to be me or Alex, and no pressure, no pushy sales stuff. That's just the way we roll. We'll get to know your situation and see if there's any way that we can line up the right area and the right property and the right game plan for what you are trying to do. So guys, thanks again for watching. And if you found this video helpful, then make sure to hit the like button. And I hope that this clarified some things for you. Feel free to share it with somebody else who might be thinking about buying. We'll keep dropping these market updates so that you are always a few steps ahead, especially in this volatile market, of what comes next. Thanks again, guys, for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.